So this is one of the ideas which can be misinterpreted as well. But how do you really approach product building process? And depending on the stage of the product, depending on the company, depending on whether you are working on emerging use cases side, or whether you are working on like BAU side, your approach might differ. But I think generally this is the structure that you would follow in terms of product building process, which will have like several, like 5-7 stages. Number one, you start with problem identification, and in the problem identification phase, you try to find out why you should really try to build a particular product or solve a particular problem, or what kind of business impact it will generate, what kind of user problem does it solve, what kind of customer pain point it is going to solve, is it going to delight customers, or what is that outcome that you really want to generate, and make sure that your stakeholders align and stuff like that. Number two is the discovery part. In the discovery part, you have to kind of think about several ways in which you can solve this problem. Is there enough qualitative and quantitative data that you have, which indicates that you will be able to achieve the business goals that you initially set out for? You try to invalidate some of the thinking as well, or validate your approaches or your ideas and assumptions, or the anecdotal feedback that you have got, and things like that. And then try to think about like several ways in which you really can solve this problem. And then in the next phase of discovery, you try to focus on solution. Which solution do you really want to kind of build out? Because if you're again, the idea or the confidence in your problem is low, then you would like to take a lean and quick and dirty solution and try to test it in the market. If your confidence in the problem is very high, then again you will try to, and if your confidence in the solution is not very high, you again try to build a MVP kind of solution and try to test it in the market before you can really invest more in building a quality product. So try to find out the right kind of solution that you really want to build. And in the next phase, you try working through all these designs, executions, and try to come up with wireframes, start writing these stories, go back and test some of those hypotheses as well, either by doing survey, by doing the usability testing. Make sure that you collect user feedback as early as possible, and especially in this phase. And then you go into delivery, which is like building it with development team, and then think about the launch. Speak to your product marketing guys, support guys, stakeholders, give them a demo, show it to some of the users, take some feedback, and then try to see that if there is a staggered kind of launch plan that you can come up with. And then once you launch it, and then review it, and then you kind of try to phase out, try to create certain phases to roll out the entire solution. So this is how you might like to build the product at several kind of companies, or depending on the stages. But in general, this is the approach that you would like to follow. Make sure that you focus on business metrics, make sure that you focus on users, make sure that you are aligning all the stakeholders on your approaches and problems, and take them on the journey, so their feedback is incorporated.